Welcome to the SharePoint Online Document Library tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to hit a couple bullet points. We're going to start off by learning how to create a folder or a document inside of a document library. Then we're going to learn how to upload a document and manage that document. Finally, we'll manage document and folder access. And then finally, we will create notifications on those files and folders. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by clicking on the New button. And you see we have several options when it comes to creating a new item inside of a folder. We're actually going to start by creating a folder inside of this library. Now, for testing purposes, we're going to go ahead and just call it test folder. We'll create the click the create button, and as you can see, our folder has been created. So here on the breadcrumbs line, we call this the breadcrumbs. It gives us easy navigation. It shows us where we currently are and where we came from. So instead of having to hit the back button, you can actually just use navigation inside the breadcrumbs to allow you, to move back one level, all of the upper levels. So now we're going to go ahead and click on our folder, go inside of it, and we are going to create a Word document. So I'm going to hit the drop down box and I'm going to go ahead and select Word document. The really interesting part about the new Microsoft Suite, the online tools, is that it gives you the ability to use the full Microsoft Suite, Word, Access, PowerPoint, OneNote without actually having to do a full download and install the applications on your computer. It's native to the desktop application installs. It looks and feels exactly the same, and you can manage those documents the same way you would on your desktop. You can see the toolbars, you can see the menus, they all look the same, which makes it very comfortable for users who need to be able to access, create, and manage documents. So now that we've got this open, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to add some text just so we can see the functionality of it. Then we will go ahead and modify the name. Then we will just look at the functionality to include, to be able to change the font size, the font type. Select highlight. See, I can bold it, I can italicize it, I can even underline it, change the size, reduce it back to the original size, and even change the font just as I said. Click on Times New Roman. We'll go with Algerian. Yeah, really cool feature set. So once again, you're able to use this stuff without having to download them. Now what we're going to do is we're going to click on the Save button here, which shows you that this document has already been saved. It gets saved in real time. It gives you the option to be able to view the version history. Now with this document, since it is the first document that we've created, we not going to have a version. But what I'm going to go ahead and do now is actually rename the document. That way it's going to be something that we can find. Once again, each time an edit is made on a document, it gets saved in real time, which is really great. You don't have to worry about trying to go back and find it, each time. Now that I've closed it out, what I'm going to do is show you that the document did actually update. I'll go ahead and click refresh here. Wait a minute, let's try this one more time. It probably has to re-authenticate me. There we go. Okay, so now you can see test word document.docx. Beautiful. So that's how we create a Word document inside of a document library or a document folder. I want to go back, and now what we're going to look at is actually how to upload a document that's already been created outside of the SharePoint environment into the SharePoint environment. There's two ways of doing this. We can actually select the upload button here and select the files that we want. I'll find something that I can upload. I'm going to select this one. Yeah, that looks fine. So PDF, and instantaneously, because it's not a large document, it automatically gets uploaded. Now, with a PDF, we'd be able to click on it. Once again, everything's online, so if I was to click on this document, it would actually open in a browser view so that we'd be able to see it. We're going to go ahead and delete it now so you can see the delete functionality. I'm going to go ahead and hit the checkbox, select delete. Now we'll refresh this page, and as you can see, the document is gone. What we're going to do this time is we're going to see how we can actually drag and drop a document from our desktop directly into the SharePoint library just by hovering over the browser window. So I'll find another document here. Let me see. Here's another PDF that'll work. I'm going to go ahead and click and drag it. You can see it highlight. You got the green plus button, and instantaneously, once again, it's not a very large document, so I just drop it into the window and it comes in. Once again, the delete functionality, select delete. That one actually went away pretty quick without having to refresh. Now we're going to look at how to manage document and folder access. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to documents. Now on these you actually have 3 ellipses when I mouse over, and these are going to be properties ellipses for each folder, each document. We're going to go ahead and click on manage access. And when we manage access, what we can see here is the current individuals or groups that have access to this current folder. Now when you hover over each individual or group over here on the right side, you can actually see what type of access they have. You're going to be given a view only access, you'll be given an edit access, and then you'll be given a stop sharing option. The view only, they can actually see the contents of the folder, they can actually see the folder, but they can't change any of the attributes. The edit actually allows them to edit the attributes of the folder as well as the contents inside of the folder. And then the stop sharing, if we were to select the stop sharing, then what happens is they would actually be removed. All permissions for that person or group would be removed from the folder, and if they actually try to click on it, then they would get an access denied on it. So what we'll do is we'll actually test this with the team portal visitors. Oh, well, one thing, let me just show you. If we wanted to actually add access, then we would go to click direct access. Anyone inside the organization, if we start typing their name, it would actually pop up just based on those few characters to find that individual. Then what we would do is we would select the type of access that we want to give them, whether we just want them to view the contents without being able to make any changes to it, which includes being able to download it, or if we want them to have the edit. So it's basically going to be a read or read-write access. And that would just completely depend on the type of access or the level of access that you want that individual to have. So that's real important. You got to pay attention to that, because if you want people just to be able to view it, then you would want to give them edit access. The notify people button is checked, so anyone who's in that line, it would fire an email off to them. And what I'm doing now is I'm just creating a simple message letting them know. Got a fat finger here going on, letting them know that hey, I've basically given you access to this specific folder. As long as the notify people button is checked, then what's going to happen is I'm going to click grant access, and it's actually going to send them an email letting them know, hey, you've been given access to this folder. It's even going to give them a link where they can click on that link and they will be able to see it. Okay, so now what we'll do is we're actually going to go back in and we're going to remove access for a specific user or group. So the team portal visitors, those are people who have access to it by default, but they only have view only access. So for this testing purposes, what we'll do is we'll actually go ahead and we will remove them from the group. So we'll hit the drop box. You see they have view only, right? So it's nothing important, and we're going to go ahead and stop sharing. We get the confirmation window that says, hey, you basically want to remove them from this, and as you can see, it instantaneously updates, and the team portal visitors are no longer in the access. So the final thing that I want to go over is creating notifications on folders and documents, which is really important because if you've got a team of people who are working on a project, or maybe you're a document data control manager and you want to be kept clued in when changes are made to documents, or if you got policy documents and things like that in a folder, then you want to be notified each time a document is changed, which is really important, for auditing purposes, or just what's the word I'm looking for, document integrity purposes. It just gives you that higher level of oversight as a manager, or any of the managers, on what's going on. So we're going to go back to that properties ellipsis. This time we're going to click on alert, and now the alert window comes up. The first one that we see here is going to be the alert title. So this is going to send an email notification to you each time that, based on the frequency of how you want to be notified. And each email is going to come with that title, so you want to be specific with that title. Then we move down to the who we want alerts sent to. You can actually choose if it's just going to be yourself, or if you want multiple people on that folder to be notified of changes. And so once again, when you click in that box, you start just typing in the names, and it's going to pop up, and you'll be able to see those names. You can select them. Delivery method, it's going to be an email by default, SMS messaging. We can send text messages, but you probably don't want to get a bunch of text messages all day each time someone changes a document. Change type, all changes, new items added, existing items are modified, or items deleted. Pretty self-explanatory. You can go with all changes, or you can go when something's been edited. So if there's a typographical error in a document and someone went and changed that, then you would be notified if they changed a comma to a semicolon or an exclamation point. Send alerts for these changes. Any changes of documents that are specific to you are going to be in this area. So you may want to know when someone changes one of your documents. And then when to send the alerts. It's going to be very, very important, because if you choose immediately and you've got team members working on documents in these folders all day, then your email box is going to get full of document notification changes. I personally, if it's a collaborative effort, maybe I would want to know, once a day, when all of in regards to all of the changes that have been made. So basically, it's going to send you a summary of all of the documents, the changes that were made, and who made those changes. Then what you can do, if it's going to be daily, you can select the time of day, and once a day at 9 a.m. or 2 in the afternoon, it's going to send it to you. Then you've got the weekly summary. If you want it once a week, then it's pretty much the same thing as well. Once a week on a certain day at a certain time, you're going to get those notifications. That concludes this tutorial. Once again, what we went over is creating a folder or a document inside of a document library or folder. Then we learned how to upload a document by using the upload button as well as the drag and drop into the window. We managed the document and folder access inside of those folders in that document library. And finally, what we did is we created notifications for ourselves and others on folders inside of document libraries, as well as the documents themselves.